The mic does pick y'all up, so just if y'all talk, but yeah. 20 to 30. Hopefully, yeah. I'm gonna keep checking. I'm gonna speed up and slow down depending on. Yeah. Right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Welcome back. Episode 2 of Between the Green here on Shameless Plug. Like I said, there's a merger between the companies. Obviously, the first thing I do want to talk about real quick is I was 6 for 6 on my picks. Jacob was 5 for 6. The one that separated us was the Browns Steelers game. He had the Steelers, I had the Browns. The game didn't go exactly as I thought, but I will get to that. The first thing I want to do is congratulate the Alabama Crimson Tide. I hate dynasties to a degree like this, where it's a dynasty for the last 12 years or so. Yeah, the first one was in 2008, so yeah, 12, 13 years. I don't necessarily like it, but when you're playing the school down south, I'm fine with it. The game was 52-24. I believe Mac Jones was MVP. He was fantastic. 464 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. That was national championship records. I think for BCS and playoff. Yeah, BCS and playoff era, so that's like the last 20 years. Devontae Smith, 200 yards in the first half, 3 touchdowns, 12 catches. There's lucky there's no fantasy college, because holy shit. Man. John Mechie played pretty well as well. Najee Harris was also a force in the passing game. But the one thing I don't want to just read stats. The one thing I want to talk about is Justin Fields struggled a little bit. It wasn't all his fault. I don't think his receivers just getting the separation they're used to, especially when you have a guy like Patrick Surtain shadowing one of Olave or Wilson. You basically don't throw at him. That's the strategy. That guy's just a decoy. As well as their defensive strategy just didn't work. They had a bend don't break approach where they're going to let Alabama gain yards on them and try to stop them, hold them to 3. It didn't work. Force them to mistakes. They didn't make Mac Jones uncomfortable. They got pressure to him like a couple times, but he's very good against pressure. They did force a fumble and a turnover, but yeah, that defensive strategy just didn't work. Their corners did not look great. Their linebackers weren't great as well. There was one play they did kind of screw up, and Devontae Smith got lined up with the linebacker. I think it was Tough Borland, and he got a touchdown. Alabama, a really, really good play game called by Steve Sarkisian, the new Texas coach. But yeah, congratulations to Alabama. Congratulations to Devontae Smith on the Heisman, all that stuff. I thought it was a pretty good season and everything. That's really all I got. Both teams are going to be losing a lot, but that's just who they are. That's who Ohio State and Alabama are. They're teams who are going to lose talent, which is who you are. Now we want to get to the NFL playoffs. So I real quick, I do want to recap all the games from last weekend. The games I was 6 for 6 on. Bills, Colts. The game was closer than it should have been. I thought Phillip Rivers played okay. I thought Jonathan Taylor played really well, especially early in the game. But I think the real story of this game for Buffalo looking forward is the lack of a real consistent run game. I mean, Josh Allen was the leading rusher, 1154. Zach Moss couldn't do anything, and he got hurt. Singletary couldn't do anything. Moss was obviously the guy. Singletary's a little slow for my liking. And, Gabriel Davis and Stephon Diggs were great. Beasley was hurt, so, got to, give him that. But he played okay. Their defense looked okay. Could have been better given that it was the Colts. But, yeah, I thought all in all, that was a really well played game by Buffalo. Colts played their heart out. They were the better team, won. And it's not much to say about that game other than I am worried about Buffalo's rushing attack for the future. Rams Seahawks. John Wolford starts the game for the Rams, and then he goes to slide, and the defensive end who plays safety, Jamal Adams, fucking kills him. No, like he put him in the hospital, put him in a stretcher, which I like big hits. I don't like people getting injured, so that's kind of where my opinion is on that. But he blew that nigga up. Cam Akers he was the player of the game for me in this game. Cooper Kupp was good as well. Cam Akers 130 yards, and man, second half of the season, Russell Wilson just isn't. He just really struggled. 11 for 27, a bad interception. He couldn't get in the rhythm at all. Metcalf was upset. Metcalf was really the only one who really did anything. They only had two guys who had more than one catch, Lockett and Metcalf. I don't know. They need another receiver. I think they can address that later in the draft. They need some defensive players. They need a lot is what I'm getting at. And if I'm honest, I'm looking at Pete Carroll. They've struggled recently in the playoffs. And sure, Pete Carroll's a great coach at the collegiate and the pro level, but they keep struggling in the playoffs. And there's another coach as well who's a fantastic coach who, same thing to say, Mike Tomlin, who I will get to. That's the last one I have to talk about. Good win for the Rams. Tough way to end your season for the Seattle, especially the way it started so promising. I don't know. There's something about this team just doesn't work. I don't know exactly what it is, but didn't work. 30-20 was the final score. LA moves on. I guess we can move to the next game, which was Tampa, Washington. I called it 31-20. It ended up being 31-23. So, shout out to me. I'm the GOAT. These niggas laughing at me. I got a studio audience for the first day, for the first time ever. This game, the story, obviously the Buccaneers won, yada, yada, yada. Brady was Brady. Leonard Fournette had a really good game. The story of this game was not anybody on Tampa Bay. Tyler Heineke, a dude who was a backup in the XFL. Huh? Oh, he's MAGA? Oh, shit. God damn it. I was just informed by Nahal that he's MAGA. So, well, fuck. God damn it. And thank you for telling me. This does change this thing. But what I was going to say was Tyler Heineke came in and played really well. Obviously, if you don't know, he was a backup in the XFL. Like, he wasn't even a starter in the second best football league in the world, second, third, fourth. I don't know. Best football league in the world. Comes in, played really well. He had a touchdown where he reached out. He was rolling around. He was giving us what Johnny Manziel should have been flashes. But they weren't able to win the game. And I think really the biggest reason they weren't able to win was the Buccaneers, they really were playing the run. They were playing Antonio Gibson. They're like, if they're going to beat us with a backup, they will. And, they're fine with, leaving the game in Heineke's hands. And he did a lot. The pick wasn't his fault. The ball got tipped. Fantastic game for him. He definitely earned a spot in the NFL. But fuck you. You're MAGA. So thank you for telling me that. This is why having a live studio audience is cool. Because I look up certain game stuff. I don't look that up. I look at his Twitter. All right, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up in a sec. The next game I want to talk about is probably the best, to me, one of the best games of the week. The Ravens at Tennessee. That was the first game on Sunday. These teams hate each other. That's the first thing. There's not rivalries in the NFL really in pro sports at all, which sucks. This is the closest it gets. These teams don't fuck with each other. And I mean we saw that here. Obviously, Lamar Jackson refused to shake hands with guys. It was a certain energy. The Ravens celebrated on the Titans logo at the end of the game. But I said something last week that really came into fruition here, and that certain teams have a specific way they have to play to win. And for Tennessee, it's Derrick Henry and it's play action, which I don't think it should be that way. You have A.J. Brown. You know what I mean? You have Ferkser as a good tight end. Corey Davis is in. Cameron Batson. Jonnu Smith is a good tight end as well. They have guys, basically, is what I'm saying, who can really catch the ball. And so I think they got to really expand the passing game. They need to get a passing game coordinator, maybe fire the OC. I don't know. But when you stop Derrick Henry to 40 yards on average of 2 yards a carry, you're beating this team. And that's the end of it. Tannehill was meh throughout the game. Again, Tannehill's limited as a quarterback. He's really good at managing the game and not throwing it away, which he did here, but it wasn't enough. And Mike Vrabel, you're probably getting the biggest L out of anybody this week from me. You're a guy who's came out and said openly you would cut your dick off for a Super Bowl. You said you would chop your penis off for a Super Bowl. Yet, 2 times on 4th and 2, one time in Baltimore territory, another time right at the 50, you don't go for it. So you can't go for it on 4th and 2 to potentially get to a Super Bowl, but you can cut your dick off. Fuck you. that's the end of that one. Shout out Lamar Jackson. He played a great game. He ran well. He passed pretty well. He had a bad interception early where he just left the ball behind the receiver, but other than that, he played pretty well. Everybody's favorite game was on Nickelodeon. Saints Bears. Me and Jacob hyped this up. We were super excited. And it was weird. Shout out Lions legend Nate Burleson. He was on the call, and I forget who the white guy was. And then they did a smart thing where they had this girl on there who doesn't know football, and they explained it to her. And I say that's smart because a lot of kids don't know football, and so them explaining it to her also explains it to them. My issue is these guys aren't like kids. They're not, they don't do stuff for children. These are CBS people, who Viacom, whatever. So who are on Nickelodeon, and so with that. I mean, we saw it was a flawed idea. I wish they could have had like some more kid thing. They had a guy on the field with a Lex something. I was about to say Lexington Steel. Holy shit. It was not Lexington Steel on the field. Thank you. Lex Lumpkin. Shout out. Yeah, that's even worse than it. I wish it was Lexington Steel. Mitch Trubisky's ass. He actually played okay. Javon Wims dropped an easy touchdown. But on the opposite end, Jimmy Graham caught a cool one at the end of the game. It didn't matter. 21-9 was the final. The Saints slimed their way to a victory. Slant boy did slant boy things. And, Saints are moving on. Browns, Steelers. Steelers got rolled. They played well in the second half. I think it's time to move off Big Ben. I think it's time to move away from Juju. I think he's a cancer for the team. I don't know. The Steelers thing, I mean, they've had 3 playoff wins in the last 10 since 2011. And those quarterbacks were Alex Smith, A.J. McCarron, and fucking Matt Moore. So, like, you haven't beat anybody in the playoffs. You've gotten some lucky games. The Browns move on. Same old Browns, 48-37. They played well, and they obviously had their work cut out for them this week. All right, that's a recap of last week's games. I think the Titans game was the best game of the week. I did really enjoy that Washington-Tampa game, though. So looking forward to next week. I'm doing this in order. We can start with the Saturday games. Rams-Packers. The Rams are going to Lambeau. And granted, there's no fans, but this does matter. It's freezing. And this is a warm weather team. And it matters, basically, is what I'm getting at. And so this is an interesting game. For one, how healthy is Jared Goff? How good will Jared Goff be? Who knows? I like the Rams, and I like the Rams' chances to actually, keep this a competitive game. But this is Aaron Rodgers. This is the best receiver in football, Devontae Adams. This is, A.J. Dillon and, just everything they have, really good team. I think I'm going to take the Packers here. I think I'm going to go 34-24 in a really good game. I think the defense steps up. I think my boy Rashawn Gary forces a fumble. I think Cam Akers is really the best player in this game this week. I think he has a monster game, but I just don't think it's enough. I'm suspect of the Rams' offense just being consistent, but I mean, I thought the Rams were the second best team in the NFC all year. I've believed that, and granted, the Buccaneers' ceiling is higher. They have the ceiling to really be able to compete in that game. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Packers in that one. The next game, Ravens-Bills. This is an old school football game, man. This is, first of all, I think this is who the Music City Miracle was. I think the Ravens were. Wait, the Music City Miracle. All right, I'm sorry. It was Titans-Ravens. I got confused. The Music City Miracle is obviously Tennessee because Nashville is the Music City. I'm a fucking idiot. Bills-Ravens. So to me, this really comes down to the Bills secondary and just stopping Lamar Jackson's legs. Forcing him to be a passer, stopping the run game. If you can do that, you can beat this Ravens team. They know it. They had, similar to the Titans. They have a way they have to win. However, it's harder to stop. For Buffalo's side. The run game's you're gonna have to have some remnants of a run game. You're gonna have some remnants of a pass game, and yeah, you guys are dicks. What is going on? Oh, really? Oh, nice. Look forward to his dick pics, y'all. You don't have to. Anyway, Bills. Yeah, again, I think Josh Allen's gonna make plays with his legs. I think he's gonna have to because I don't think their run game's good, especially with Zach Moss being out for. I guess the season. The rest of the season, I believe. I know he's out this week. Browns, Chiefs. So anyway, I didn't even get my score. I'm gonna go Buffalo here. I'm gonna go Buffalo 30-28. I think it's a wild game. I think Justin Tucker misses a game-winning field goal. Bold picks here. Bold picks. Browns Chiefs. I almost did it last week, and I'm gonna do it this week. I'm taking the Browns. Browns are knocking off Patrick Mahomes, ladies and gentlemen. I said it. Cleveland going to Cleveland. They're gonna go into KC and win. Nick Chubb, Big Dick Nick Chubb. He's gonna show his ass. He's gonna pull his cock out and fuck the Chiefs. A slow stroke, man. ASAP Rocky style. There wasn't Lexington Steel in the Saints game, but damn it, he'll go Lexington Steel in this game. I think Nick Chubb has a monster game. The Chiefs haven't looked good recently. First of all, Mahomes hasn't played in like 3 weeks, and they haven't been good the second half of the season. They looked lazy, and a few weeks off. I actually think that's going to hurt them. I think they keep it close, but I don't know, man. Baker Mayfield, I think he pulls off the upset of the year. I'm going with it, and this is risking my perfect record, by the way. This is the biggest risk I'm taking, but I don't care. Give me the Browns. 38-34 in a shootout. Yes, I said it. And then last game, we got Tampa and New Orleans. This is a game of two old quarterbacks. Obviously, the Saints went 2-0 against Tampa this season. But everybody talks about how hard it is to beat a team a third time. And I think in college football, they say it with a second when it comes to like conference championships or playoff, depending on the year. And beating the team a third time is hard, and this is not the same Tampa team. For one, Antonio Brown's there, and Antonio Brown's arrived. He's he's been Antonio Brown. You add that with the way Mike Evans and Chris Godwin can play. You add that with Leonard Fournette coming off a really good game. And I don't trust New Orleans to throw the ball downfield. The one time they really tried to, test the defense, take a shot, it was Taysom Hill, and he fumbled. So I don't like New Orleans in this game. I think Tampa. I'm gonna give Tampa the win here. 28-17. I think New Orleans defense struggles. So, yes, those are my picks. I got the Packers winning. I got the Bills winning. I got the Browns winning. And I got the Buccaneers winning. The last thing I want to talk about is Kyrie Irving. Kyrie, I love you. You're one of the best point guards ever, frankly. You're a fantastic offensive player. You're maybe the most skilled basketball player to ever play in the NBA when you factor in just the jumper, the handle, best handles ever, just pure skill. That doesn't mean you're the best, but, skill-wise, you're up there with, KD and Curry and all those guys. However, and, I defended you when, your last year in Boston. I understand your grandfather passed, and, I'm talking to him, by the way. I understand your grandfather passed. I understand everything happened the way it happened. However, this I can't excuse. So he's not playing, and he said, I'm not playing because, quote-unquote, I don't want to play. How true is that? I don't know if that's just the truth or it's, really he's just saying that to be funny. That's kind of like the way I look at it. But for a Nets team that's struggling a little bit, man, it's tough. So he hasn't played in a few days, and recently he was seen out at a birthday party, and so that means he automatically has to quarantine, whether or not he got, no matter how safe the people were there, NBA rules. And first of all, just saying you don't want to play, that's a fine. That's a breach of contract fine. I don't know what the fine will be. It's Kyrie Irving. The dude's not talking to media all year. He clearly doesn't give a shit about fines. He's also insanely rich. But this is my issue with that Brooklyn team, man. I love the team, but when you add in, Karis, KD, and Kyrie's injury history, and factoring in with Dinwiddie now being out for the season with a torn ACL, I guess he could come back in the playoffs. Granted, how ACL injuries are now, but I'm gonna assume out for the season with a torn ACL, and you add that in with their injury histories, and you add that in with KD and Kyrie's emotionalness. And I'm light skinned. I know emotional ass niggas when I see them. You guys are pricks. I don't know what you're laughing about. But I saw it a little bit. Fuck it. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Shout out light skinned women. This is an interesting episode, clearly. Anyway, Kyrie Irving. Yeah, I don't love this. Him and KD's personalities are an interesting mix, especially in a team that's in New York. You know how the New York media is. I still really like Brooklyn come playoff time, but I don't know. Not loving it. And then two more things about the NBA I do want to talk about. The Pistons suck. I am a Pistons fan, which is fine. Tank for Cade Cunningham. And the Raptors suck. Now, I also like the Raptors. My reason being, when I used to live where I used to live, which is near the I used to live near the river, which if you know Detroit, on the other side of the river is Canada. I used to get Canadian channels as well, and I used to get TSN, which is where the Raptors games were on. I don't know if they're still on TSN. I think it's still TSN, and like all their games. I don't know if some are nationally televised in Canada or what, but I used to get Raptors games, and this is back in like the Bargiani days, like early Terrence Ross. Like it was rough. But so I really like the Raptors. Both teams are struggling for different reasons. For the Raptors, I mean, they just can't create offense, and they've been blowing leads in like 6 or 8 losses. I guess 9 losses now, right? Yeah, I don't remember when I saw that stat, but yeah. And then for the Pistons, it's just the lack of talent. Jeremy Grant has been a nice addition for sure. They overpaid, and when you see how well Christian Wood is playing down in Houston, it sucks. I mean, Christian Wood's probably an all-star this year, honestly. He's most improved player, all that. But Jeremy Grant's hooping his ass off. I think it's and Josh Jackson, I'm sorry, is hooping his ass off as well. Add those two guys together. I think there's a foundation there. I think Killian Hayes, he wasn't playing well, but that's fine. He's a rookie coming from another country. I think he would have got his footing, but he does have a hip thing. So my one fear with Killian is, well, one, he has to get the surgery. If he doesn't, then could be a recurring thing, like it would happen to Isaiah Thomas. But my biggest thing with Killian is, get the surgery, come back next year. We draft a Jalen Suggs, a Cade Cunningham, or insert here, and you really have something brewing. And the Raptors are struggling. I don't love the way Nick Nurse has coached this season. I just don't love the direction that the Raptors are going in. For one, you're struggling. You're not playing rookies. You're not playing Malachi Flynn. I really like Malachi Flynn. You can't create offense, and that goes into Siakam. I honestly, if as it stands right now, his value is super low. But if Siakam can improve his value, I'd consider trading him. I don't think he's a number one guy, and I don't see. I mean, could always trade for Harden, but with the way he's playing, good luck with that. And yeah, man. I mean, right now the Raptors and the Pistons are tied at the bottom of the East with 2-8. And I just don't love the direction of these teams. Last thing I do want to say before I end this little, mini show I have going here. I don't love. Oh, I am scared. I don't want to say don't love. I am scared of just the NBA right now with this whole COVID thing. I mean, we've seen outbreaks from multiple teams. We see, Bradley Beal. We've seen Jason Tatum, who's a close contact. We've seen all this, and I'm scared. NBA plays more games. They travel more in NFL, and the NFL's had their problems. College football's had their problems. The NBA, it has a different. Granted, they have less players, but it is a different set of challenges. All the Warriors are heating up. Kelly Oubre doesn't suck anymore as much. But yeah, that's the end of this week's mini show. More audio shows. I think I'm gonna start posting on Instagram TV as well on the Instagram. So follow that, Between the Green. Little mini segments about individual topics, and then I'll really just bring it all together for the weekly shameless plug episode. So you guys have a wonderful day, and yeah, peace.